Hey, beautiful. This is your intuitive consultant and life coach, Avalaura, with another edition of Avalaura Heal My Life podcast. Listen in each week because I'm helping you to heal your life, heal your relationships, learn how to do meaningful work in the world, and make an impact that creates legacy. So go ahead and get your pen and paper, get your favorite drink, and listen in now.
The new year brings new energy and new music. So I'm letting you, the listeners of Avalaura Heal My Life, choose my new theme music. Here's what you gotta do. All I want you to do is listen in each week, every week from now until February 11th on the special Valentine's Day show. I'm gonna have new music for my intro and outro. And I want you to choose the one you like the best. So all you gotta do is listen, tell me the episode number that you like the music for, and just leave a comment on iTunes or however you listen to Avalaura Heal My Life. Leave a comment, or you can also email me at avalaura@avalaura.com, avalaura.com. Email me at avalaura@avalaura.com and let me know what should be my new theme music for Avalaura.
This episode of Avalaura Heal My Life is sponsored by Canada's #1 inspiration coach, Maureen Kaylee Verdonk, affectionately known as Coach Mo. She is the founder of Inspired Living Life Coaching, and Coach Mo is passionately helping women say yes to ourselves and experience more success and joy in our lives. Visit Coach Mo at www.mocaliverdonk.com. That's MO Cali CALEY Verdonk VERDONK mocaliverdonk.com and claim your free audio CD today. Greetings, beautiful ones. This is Avalaura, your intuitive consultant and life coach, here with another amazing episode of Avalaura Heal My Life. Tune in every week, each Sunday, to learn how to heal from whole to wholeness in your life, your relationships, your business, and your career. And today I have another amazing guest. We're just going to jump on in, and we're going to be talking about today not a really sexy topic, but a fundamental one that I think so many of us overlook. We're really going to be talking about the healing power of slowing down and being still. So the healing power of stillness. And as usual, you're going to want to go ahead and get your pen and paper out and take notes, because our guest is just going to give you some amazing pointers, some great golden nuggets. And if you like what you hear, please go ahead and subscribe. Share this out to your friends and family. The world needs to hear this. And make your comments on iTunes. So many of you, I get comments every week in my inbox, on Facebook, so many places on LinkedIn about how you love the show. But I would really love for you to make those comments right here in iTunes. So if you could go ahead and do that, I would really appreciate that. So let's get started with our amazing guests. We have for those of us in the U.S., I know you're listening all across the world, but our amazing guest comes from Canada today. So I'm so excited. Canada's inspiration coach, Mo Cali Verdonk, has worked in helping and healing profession for close to 4 decades. And after breaking through what she coins her chronic yes syndrome, she now assists other women struggling with feeling depleted, anxious, stressed, and resentful to live joyful, confident, and balanced lives again. So please join me in welcoming Coach Mo Cali Verdonk. Coach Mo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here on Avalaura Heal My Life. And for those people listening who don't know much about you, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thanks, Avalaura. I'm recently retired from my permanent job of, well, 28 years with the same employer,
Wow.
and am feeling really refueled and refired to do what I'm totally passionate about, and that is helping women live fulfilling lives. I live in Dawson City, Yukon, and that's in northern Canada, a small town where I was born and raised and moved away and migrate back. I'm a certified coach and a lifelong learner. So
Mm.
I share what I learn with the people I work with and the people that I surround myself in my life.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. So you're retired, you served 28 years in the same company, which a lot of people don't even do anymore. And so now this is your time. So in the Maxine's Waters voice, you reclaimed your time now. You are living life on your terms. And so how did you get into this work of helping women and really focusing on slowing down and being still?
It really, really started almost, well, 3.5 years ago, where it really, really cemented in my life when I had a situation. I'd been uh, practicing and helping others with self care. And I thought I really had things figured out until one day I was no longer able to function adequately. I had a situation with my son that caused me to, oh my gosh, really uh, step aside and start taking a look at what was really going on for me. And that was, I was pretending that things were really fine in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is powerful because I think so many of our listeners can relate to that, to feeling like everything is okay. But when you actually look at your life, you realize that there's not. There's still some things that are wrong. And how did that how did that affect your life? Because so many people might get to that point where they recognize that things are okay, but then they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So, what did you decide to do when you had that realization?
Well, I decided that, well, in a way, it was decided for me because I started to cry and I couldn't stop. And I
Mm,
reached out. So I became really vulnerable. And I had people in my life that I trusted that I could reach out to. And I gathered support people from my family physician, my director and supervisor, my husband, and a couple of close friends, and and a counselor. And I took some time off, and I had the
mhm,
support from my workplace that I could take as much time as I needed. And so all those things came together, and I just really started to tune in to myself at a much deeper level than I'd been able to. It was almost like something was cracked open for me.
mm. Wow.
And yeah, and so really starting to listen and um, tune into my tune into my heart in a my soul. It's kind of like my soul power. And
Mhm,
I really began to slow down and listen. And not that there's an anxious part of me that says, you have to do it, you have to do it now, you have to figure it out now. And that I started to hear the gentle, wise voice. It was softer, it was almost like a whisper. And so by slowing down, not being at work, and taking the time, I practiced meditation, and I started to learn to listen to my body in a bigger way. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. And that's why I'm a huge proponent of meditation, and all of my clients know, and even people who, may just listen to this podcast or heard me speak know that, I teach meditation. I'm a huge proponent of it because of the reasons that you just said, because that is one of the gifts that it teaches you, is just how to slow down and how to be still and how to tune into yourself and get back in balance and harmony with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like what you said about you got support. I think that is so huge. And a lot of times I talk about that it takes a village to raise a dream, that it really takes a village of supportive people around you to help you to figure out this thing and navigate the waters that we call life, right? And to really live it successfully. And the people I think who have a problem with that are people who don't reach out, who don't ask for help, who kind of live in a bubble and feel like they can do it on their own. And we can't. So I love that you reached upon, people in your network, your support system to help you when you needed it. And that allowed you to give you the time and the space to really go within and to be still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
And so,
crucial.
but you said something very interesting. You said something, soul power. What is soul power? What does that mean?
Well, what that means to me is really turning inward, tuning into my inner wisdom, listening to my body's messages to myself. And that, for me, I can start to feel this sort of warmth in my heart when I listen and I ask. So that's part of it. It's having a dialogue with myself. And I can feel tension or a knot in my stomach. And so then it causes me to pause and ask, what is that knot trying to tell me?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really about paying attention, recognizing the language of my own body, my own being. And that's what I term my soul power.
I love that. Recognizing the language of my own body, my own being. Listeners, you all need to write that down. That is such a wonderful golden nugget, to be able to recognize your language, not your mama's language, your sister's language, your best friend, but yours. Because, you know, Coach Mo, you're so right. Like, our body speaks to us all of the time, but the problem is we don't know how to tune in and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Even simple things like, and I teach a lot about emotions, but even not even talking about emotions, just even simple things like knowing when you're hungry or knowing when you're thirsty. Like, how many of you actually know when you are hungry or when you are thirsty, or do you just eat, or do you just drink? Or once you're eating, how do you know if you're full or not? Or do you just keep eating because food tastes good, right?
Yeah.
Simple things like that, like we don't even tune into. So I think that's so powerful, to know the language of your own body, because everybody's body, everybody's beingness is different. And you can't do what I do, and I can't do what you do. It's very unique.
Yeah, it's so true. Hey?
I love that. So for the person who says, okay, you know what, Coach Mo, this sounds really wonderful. How do I do that? How do you tune into your soul power? How do you learn to listen? How do you become still?
Well, Avalaura, do you want to do a little practice with me?
Oh, sure.
You can just jump right into a little exercise. So, one of the things is, I'll just explain it and then we'll just jump into it. Is that okay?
Okay, that sounds great. I'm excited.
Okay, so I've adapted a 3-step breathing process. And So what we'll do to begin with is we'll just take a couple of nice, deep, gentle breaths to just be in the moment. And then I'll ask you to think about something that you need to do or that might be making you anxious right now. And then I'll walk you through just paying attention to what you're thinking about, and I'll give you some guidance on that and noticing what's going on in your body. And then we'll move to just another step in anchoring our breathing to what's happening for us. And then we'll just end with turning to our body as a whole and acknowledging. It's really simple and it's really powerful and can just help bring us right into the stillness of our own being.
Awesome. All right. Let's do it.
Okay. So, Avalaura, I invite you to take a couple of nice, deep and gentle breaths and imagining your breath, if possible, going all the way down to your hips or your pelvis. So breathing in and releasing. Breathing in and releasing. And one more breath. Breathing in and releasing. And now I would like you to think about something that is making you feel anxious or something that you need to do and you're stressed or worried about it. And I'd like you to notice your thoughts and you can just name them. Are they anxious? It's just anxiousness. Or it's just planning. It's just a memory. It might even be it's just a song. And now notice any sensations in your body. Notice and name. It's just a knot. It's just tension. It's just excitement. It's just anxiety. And just to allow them to be. And now we'll take another deep breath in, breathing in awareness to any tense spots or tight spots in your body. And so on your in breath, breathe in awareness. And on your out breath, breathe out softening and opening into any of those tight places that your awareness is taking you to. So breathing in awareness. And breathing out softening and opening. And now I'd like you to turn your attention to your body as a whole and notice how your skin feels. Is the air on your skin cool or warm? And notice if you're sitting or standing, how you're being supported. noticing any sounds, and noticing your breathing, just noticing it. Is it shallow or deep? Whatever it is, it's okay. And now bring your attention back to the here and now and give your toes and fingers a little wiggle. And take another deep, gentle breath and come back to our conversation.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you
Thank
for that.
You're welcome.
And listeners, I hope that you all enjoyed that. I hope that you did that exercise. If not, the beauty is that this is you can always go back and listen again and do it, because you might be in your cars or you might be in the middle of something where you couldn't just, take that time out. But it was truly a beautiful experience. And if you did do the exercise, I invite you to share with me your experience. I would love to hear from you. And I'm sure Coach Mo would love to know what your experience was. Um, for me, it was very interesting. It was funny. It reminded me of I taught meditation at a women's retreat back this fall, and I remember one of the women, when I invited them back, she was like, "No, I don't want to come back. Why did you have me come back?" And and I felt like that. Like when you started to say, "Come back to this moment," I was like, "No, I'm not ready. I don't want to." And I think that's, almost our body's way of saying, like, you need more of that stillness in your life. You need more time to just breathe and just be. And we don't get enough of that. We have so many distractions and so many things pulling us away from ourselves. I mean, if I think about just what happened in the news this week, just so many things that we get caught up with that really aren't that important. They're outside of us, and that we don't take that time to tune into ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is really a simple exercise that we can do to help us tune into ourselves with what's going on. We can do it at work. We could do it at home. We could do it in a moment.
Mm,
And it
yeah.
can, yeah, I love it. The simple things. And that's part of what I've really been offering the women I work with because it works so well. Avalaura, I'm from a work hard. You got to work hard in order for things to be um, legitimate. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
practicing more ease and keeping it simpler,
Yeah.
and it makes such a difference.
Yeah. It really does. It truly does. And I could feel a part of it too, just when you said just sort of think about something that, might be making you anxious or stressing you out. Like I could feel the knot in my back, which is
Oh,
very interesting.
cool.
And so I love, I love that, and I love, somebody else facilitating that exercise for me, because oftentimes we find ourselves, especially, if you're a healer, you're a coach, you're a counselor, that you're always doing these things for everybody else. So it's so nice to be able to have an experience where someone is leading you through your own process. So I really appreciated that.
Awesome. And Avalaura, I'm curious about that knot in your back. Were you able to bring your breath and the awareness to it and then breathe out a softening and opening to it?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
I felt it dissipate.
Ah, beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's how powerful this exercise is. So for you all listening, and if you didn't have that experience, please don't say, "Oh my God, Ava Laura had this experience that didn't work for me." Remember what we said is that you have to tune into the language of your own body and your own beingness. And I've been practicing meditation now for, God, I don't know, 20 something years. And I teach meditation. So just know that your experience might be a little different. Do not compare your experience to my experience or somebody else's. So let your experience be what you had. And again, you can always go back and continue to practice it and continue to do these things. And what I love about these simple exercises that Coach Mo just taught is that it really is simple. It's free. It really just takes time and consistency for you to do it. And it's not even that much time. What was that? Maybe 5 minutes?
Yeah, not even maybe. Yeah.
So very, very powerful. So what I want to know is, I know something else that you've talked a lot about. Well, two things, but something else that you've talked a lot about too is what it really means to say yes to yourself. What does that mean, and why is it so important?
Oh my gosh. What it really means is it's a little bit complicated sometimes to explain, but it's really recognizing what a true yes is. And it really, I woke up to it about 6 years ago. I was in New York at a coaching happiness training, and I went for a walk with my sister-in-law who was taking the same training. And I she said to me, well, it's your time to decide whatever you want to do. And I found myself thinking, what does she want to do? And we were walking in Central Park, and there's this skating rink there. And oh my gosh, I'd seen it there before. And you know what I really wanted to do was to go skating. And
Mm.
I was saying to her, oh, well, let's do what you want kind of thing. And, what do you want to do? And yeah, it's okay to do this. And I got this um, frustration in frustrated feeling in myself, and almost a resentment. And I tuned into resentment prior to that and noticed the sensations in my body, this kind of heavy breathing and the slump in my shoulders. And I felt that. So I had tuned
Mm.
into it. And I said, actually, you know what I'd really like to do is go skating. And that simple incident woke me up to what are my true yeses, and how often am I saying yes to please somebody else?
Wow. Yeah. I think that's so powerful because, really what that spoke to is that you weren't even aware
Yeah.
of how often that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so many times that resentment builds up in us and in many of our relationships. It could be, your marriage, it could be, with a sibling, like if friends, co-workers at work, wherever, that you don't even realize how many times you're saying yes to someone else and you're not saying yes to yourself.
Absolutely. And so,
And so what happens when we do that? And how does stillness help us to say yes to ourselves?
yeah, thank you. Stillness helps us to tune in and pause. And that exercise we just did it's like an introduction to tuning in to how our thoughts and emotions interact with the sensations, the physical sensations in our body. And um, so we need to start to, you know, get to know ourselves. And so learning what a yes is often adds energy to us, and we feel this like we have more enthusiasm, more energy, more aliveness. And on the other hand, when we say yes, and we think it's a yes, we start to feel kind of drained, and we wish we could get out of it, or we uh, drag our feet. And so that's information for us to start to tune into. Oh, maybe that wasn't a true yes. So how would I – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –– – –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– –– – – it's an awareness, and it can become a bit of a game. We can have a little bit of fun with it and start to really tune into to what's a real yes. Is it fueling me?
Mm-hmm.
What am I saying yes to that maybe wasn't a real yes? And then to be gentle and compassionate with ourselves, to go, oh, thank you for that information. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And I just thought about this quote that I love. I post quotes all the time,
Uh-huh.
and I was actually, it was interesting how many people sort of resonated with this, but it's by Frances Bacon, and she says that silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom.
Beautiful.
And really, what you're talking about is by becoming silent, by becoming still, just taking that beat, taking that pause, you tune into your inner wisdom. You tune into your intuition. You tune into that small voice that's been trying to talk to you all these years and you're not listening.
Yes. Yes. And a great question to ask ourselves when we're tuning in is, what is it you want? What would you like right now? What is that wish? I didn't have to do it. Oh, okay, thank you. And so we just start to really, really listen and take that pause, that and have that silence.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's great. So not only are we tuning into the wisdom and releasing, for instance, in the exercise you took us through, anxiety or resentment or stress or whatever it might be, but then also tuning into what it is that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. And it's so simple. It's so simple. So, what is it, if there was one thing, right, that you want our listeners to get from this conversation today, what would that be?
Wow. I had other things in my mind, but what came to me right now is releasing the need to be perfect. This is a
Mm,
process,
yeah.
and to really be gentle and kind as you as you tune into yourself and congratulate yourself when you notice. So releasing the need to be perfect and have it all done now. I'm a recovering perfectionist.
I'm in the club as well. I'm not going to claim presidency, but I'm certainly in the club.
Mm. Woohoo! Yeah,
I
that
love
would be
it.
the one thing.
So
Hmm.
let go of perfectionism. And again, and that is something too that if you find yourself struggling with that, you might not be recovering from it, but you still are a perfectionist, or even
Yeah.
if you are in recovery, because in order to stay in recovery, you have to maintain. But so one of the things still is tapping into your soul power, as you say, or really in that inner stillness and letting go of that perfectionism, really looking at what is that? Why are you behaving in that way? And, and how is it that you can just release that and let it go?
Yes. Yeah, and that can be something that the exercise we did can be perfect for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. So tell us really quickly. So I know you have a retreat coming up that really focuses on that. So tell us about the retreat, and if, if our listeners would like to attend, how can they do that?
Okay, the retreat is the weekend of March 22nd to 25th, 2018. So it seems like a long way away, but it's coming up pretty quickly.
Yep.
And for it's called Soul Power. It's a retreat for women. And you can go to www.soulpowerretreat.com for information. And I'm super happy to connect and answer any questions that somebody might have. And it's an opportunity to really take the time for yourself and to be still. It's in a setting that really embraces stillness. And I live in the Yukon, a small population. The retreat setting is in the edge of the wilderness. It has modern amenities and it's got natural surroundings with the wilderness plus hot springs, a natural hot springs. And so it just really honors women's need to become still. And so it's nurturing. Yeah. And so go to soulpowerretreat.com. I'm really excited about it. And one of the women who attended the retreat in the fall had signed up for the retreat. Avalaura, the day of the retreat.
Wow.
The day of the retreat, she almost didn't come.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And she did come and said that was the best decision she made.
Yeah. It sounds wonderful. That hot springs got me. I'm like, ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds lovely. Yes. So if you're interested in the retreat, I certainly recommend that you go soulpowerretreat.com, check it out, see if that resonates with you. I think this is such a gift to learn how to really tune into yourself and tap into your soul power. So thank you so much for talking about this today and sharing with our listeners. And if our listeners want to contact you, how can they learn more about you? Where can they contact you?
Okay, so the simplest would be to go to my website at www.mocaleyverdonk.com. That's MOCALEYVERDONK.com. mocaleyverdonk.com.
Awesome. So check out Coach Mo. She is phenomenal. And are there any closing thoughts that you want to share with our listeners today?
Yes, please. Thank you. I have a quote here by Ralph Waldo Emerson. What lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us. And when we bring what is within us out into the world, miracles happen.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. That's a nice note to leave on. So with that, I thank you all for listening to another episode of Avalaura Heal My Life. Join us next Sunday for a new edition. Go ahead and remember to subscribe, like, comment. Let us know how you like the show on iTunes. Until then, wishing you peace, love, and bountiful blessings. Are you ready to learn how to meditate the right way? Meditation is a key tool for transformation, clarity, focus, and truly living an amazing, peaceful, happy life. It is one of the number one tools that I teach all of my clients, and I know you know the benefits, but so many of you don't know how to meditate and breathe properly. I have a 4-week training just for you, M3, Mantra, Meditation, and Motivation, where I'm teaching you online from wherever you are around the world how to meditate correctly. So email me now at avalaura@avalaura.com and get all the juicy details. That's AVALAURA, Avalaura@avalaura.com, and get all the juicy details about my M3 meditation training. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for listening to another edition of Avalaura Heal My Life podcast. Join me each and every week to move from whole to wholeness in your life, your relationships, your business, and your career. And if now is the time for you to embrace all that you are for your most incredible life, go ahead and email me today at avalaura@avalaura.com for your own personal consultation. And while you're at it, I'm Googleicious, so you can find more information about me online. Go to my website at avalaura.com and join my mailing list.